Yeah, this was maybe the most exciting playoff game of the century, and I just have some really quick high-level buckets that I want to talk about. You can go look at the box score. Obviously, it was a huge comeback for Denver. You can look at the clutch stats from Jamal and how well Denver's machine executes in clutch time and everything that led up to that. But as I try to do with Think Shank and this whole channel, I want to look at the philosophical implications of what happened last night. Again, you can find all the clutch time stats you want, and everybody else is going to be talking about it. First, I just want to cover quickly what I think were the biggest factors in driving what we saw happen. Number one, affecting both teams. I think fatigue and exhaustion became very relevant down the stretch. Some of the other games maybe we have seen, but in this game in particular, because I felt like it was such a scratching and clawing type of game, yeah, you saw a lot of guys, great players, making great plays, and that's how it ended. For LA, you got AD being aggressive, and AD being aggressive is a top 7 player in the league. Automatic 30 and 15 to 20 turnovers for the Lakers as well. This is all throughout the game. Anthony Davis had 4 turnovers. D'Lo had 4 turnovers, and a couple of them really, really bad. Rui had just passes going through his hands. Vincent had a really ill-timed turnover. All cylinders are firing on offense, and then just those turnovers and easy baskets are just such big momentum killers. For Denver, obviously it was a tough shooting night. Obviously, when you have the greatest player on the planet, it can help bring that floor pretty high, although they did fall behind. That is probably a record for them as far as their biggest deficit. The slower Denver's pace was, aka the deeper in the shot clock it got and the doubles started happening, it actually seemed to fluster him a little bit, causing a few violations and a little bit of slip up on Jokic's end. Clearly had been locked in schematically on when they were going to be doubling Jokic and from where. It wasn't even necessarily generate your picture perfect, beautiful, wide open threes and Jokic kickouts. Like I said before, especially down the stretch, there was a lot of great players just making great plays. Having a team that well-balanced and that chemically aligned and in sync, it just makes for a very, very effective clutch time killer kind of team. Next is the refs didn't cost you the game, Bron. 2-point game. D'Angelo Russell goes up for the layup, gets raked across the face, no call, absolutely misses that call. It's, of course, at a very pivotal time. I can understand the frustration there. There was another possession in the third quarter around the halfway mark where the ball went out of bounds and it clearly went off of Christian Brown, I think. It should have been LA's ball. That was at 74 to 57, so they were obviously pretty high up in the scoreboard, but that should have went LA's way. Denver did a great job, though, with their challenges. They went 2 for 2 on their challenges. I'm happy for them. Like, that is good, and then that's why we have those challenges in place there. I know there was a play where I think Jamal got LeBron's hand while it was holding the ball, which that is completely legal. If you have the ball and you're just like holding it, and then a defender slaps your hand while you're just holding the ball, you're allowed to do that. But your hand has to be touching the ball. It's technically part of the ball. I think Denver won a challenge that way. I just kind of felt overall like Scott Foster and the crew like actually did a good job. Nuggets ended up shooting 4 more free throws. I mean, okay. I don't know if I saw too many things that should have went Denver's way, honestly. Refs didn't try to implant themselves in this game. They obviously did make mistakes, but I don't think that they were necessarily pivotal. Obviously, the D'Lo thing is tough, but again, you were up like 20 points in the third quarter. And if it's going to come down to one missed foul call, granted, 1 minute left in the fourth, like, okay, but if that's really your MO, then I don't know if that's gonna work out for you, bud. So I don't think we're ever gonna see another LeBron James 8 straight finals, 80+% dragging those teams to the finals just to squeak out a 7-game win or thrashed by a much more overall talented team and one with better strategy in maximizing that talent, let alone another 2016 title. You saw that last night, where the Lakers clearly have their Anthony Davis, LeBron James, two-headed monster, where they are going to take almost all of the shots, and they each played very, very well, even down the stretch, had back-to-back threes by LeBron and yada, yada. D'Lo started out very, very hot from three. He was fantastic from beyond the arc. There was that one specific sequence even from LeBron that I freaked out about and probably is going to get lost in the shuffle because it's a loss anyway. LeBron had a chase down block from behind after getting beat on the perimeter, like had to do like one of those hand stops on the ground to like pivot and turn all the way back around. Chased him down, blocked it from behind, and Denver retained possession of the ball after the block. It found its way back to Murray, ends up matched up against Murray, calls his sidestep, step back, mid-range jump shot like he's his father, blocks that. LA gets the ball after that second block in the same play, and LeBron is the second player running the floor to get to the other basket, gets the ball, Jamal wraps him up, and he finishes through contact. I don't know how many more of those we're going to get, people, and again, nobody cares because they lost. That was unbelievable, and he is the only guy on that court who would have been able to make a play like that happen, even at 39 years old. It felt like it was 2013 Miami again, and you obviously could tell how bad he wanted. He even stuffed Jamal at the rim as well in like some insane block at the cup. I'm not trying to blow this out of proportion, but oh my God, did LeBron want to win that game. And again, just these flashes, I just don't know how many more we're gonna get. And then you have what I'm calling the Denver Kodak moment. There was a sequence at the end of the second quarter that I don't think anybody is really mentioned, but I just noticed it. It just felt like the Golden State Warriors split actions where you got to pick your poison between Clay and Steph, and the defense is basically screwed because both of them are never, ever going to miss. And Denver just had this one sequence that I felt like was their version of this, where Jokic and Murray pick and roll at the top. Murray hits AG on a baseline cut. I believe it was Anthony Davis, but the Lakers make a perfect defensive rotation to cut him off at the basket. So AG does a perfect up and under kick out chest pass to a wide open MPJ. Bang. One sequence where I'm just like 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5 guys in Denver's starting lineup touched the ball and executed his role to a T, and it was just beautiful to see. Cool. So all that feeds into the overall point here. I just think there's too much talent. There's too much IQ. There's too much maximization of talent here where all these guys have their roles and specialize. It's not necessarily egalitarian when it comes to the production, like the end outcome, who is getting the bucket, who is getting the assist, but all of the roles that feed into those specific outcomes are just so perfectly manicured and designed and executed. You, again, will not be able to stop it by yourself, LeBron. We'll see about Wemby. Probably is going to be the only exception to this, but probably why Luka's going to struggle, to be completely honest with you. Until Luka can go off ball and drive a lot more value off ball, like, you know, it's high upside. That 2016 title that LeBron got, that might have literally been the most challenging and impressive title ever won. And it might also be the last of its kind. That's my point. Jokic as a team first terror. Packed in the stat sheet again. I think he had 30, 20, and 10. Unbelievable. There really is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Really, you know, doesn't need free throws. Going up against Anthony Davis as well, top 3 defensive center in the league, doesn't matter. But this is what I want to focus on. I was thinking to myself, if Denver doesn't pull this out, is the narrative going to be Jokic needs to be more of a killer and he needs to take the game over more down the stretch? I was kind of concerned he wasn't taking enough shots by the third quarter, and it looked like he was ready to go down with his guys. And unlike LeBron, for example, where LeBron's going to take the game over. Like, if you're f***ing up, he's going to take it over, and that's going to be the end of the discussion. Jokic really doubled down on his approach, getting his guys open, etc. And then, of course, it ultimately leads to the Jamal Murray takeover down the stretch. Why it is so surprising that Jokic didn't try to just flatly take this game over. 10 more possessions, 5 fewer turnovers, 5 fewer threes on 4 more attempts. Jamal specifically, he was 3 for 16 going into the fourth quarter, and then leaves the fourth quarter going 6 for 8. Let that soak in. Yes, clutch is awesome. It is box office. It is great for selling things. It is not a great, reliable strategy, particularly against tough opponents. Jokic still trusted him in the fourth. Murray talked about that in the post-game interview on the court after the game. He was like, Jokic was like, I'm going to just keep feeding you the ball, man. I don't give a shit. Like, going into the stretch, I don't care how many shots you've missed. I know how good you are, yada, yada. That's what I mean. It's like, Murray goes 3 for 16, and Jokic is still looking for him in the fourth quarter in the most intense, high-pressure situation. The Lakers score 10 points. They go 5 for 9, 0 for 3 from 3, 1 turnover, and then 1 offensive rebound, leading to 2 second-chance points. Denver scores 14 points, goes 7 for 8 from the floor, 1 for 1 from 3, 2 for 2 free throws, and 1 turnover as well. The new Golden State Dynasty has arrived. That was the most Golden State Warriors come-from-behind win I've ever seen a team do that wasn't the Golden State Warriors. You don't get to go down by that many points, and the entire team band back together with that much heart and trust and teamwork, gut out a win against such a formidable opponent. I just want to read you something that I wrote because I was so moved by this game that I needed to. So here it goes. We never notice the tectonic shifts surrounding us until an earthquake. This win right here, this win left Nuggets fans more speechless than anyone. Why? It was the precious, precarious, awe-inspiring moment of reaching the competitive summit. There is no more climbing left, no more indignation, no more ascension. Now there is only prosperous preservation and the constant quest for longevity. Wins can still be losses, losses are failures, deficits, even when dire, are just pranks by the puppeteers working the scoreboard. At last, my Nuggets, the time has come to shed the underdog shell that you've thrashed around inside of for so long. The suffocating scarlet letter of mid-market teams. Tomorrow, you get to start a new script for your headlining role in the latest act of league history. Denver's first dynasty. Oh, wow. Woo! Got myself choked up, man. God damn. Now you know. Now you know I'm not faking this shit, man. I care. That was crazy. I wrote that. I was so just inspired. I don't even care. All right. So that is where we land to me. Again, that style of win, that story behind the win, being down that much against such a formidable opponent, banding together the way they did, all of the trust and chemistry they had accumulated and cultivated together, and grinding out that incredible, incredible win. Protecting the home court as well to take the series by the throat. That is what we have seen the greatest teams be able to do. And I knew that this game was going to be the Kodak moment for this Dynasty team. 1:17 left in the fourth quarter. Jamal made a boneheaded play, turned the ball over. LeBron got a steal, got on the fast break, dunked the ball, inbound the ball super, super fast, just like the Warriors, gets to Jokic, barely to half court, chucks it on the baseline to Aaron Gordon. AG is way too big for Reeves. They're borderline out of bounds. AG is able to wrestle the ball away, falling out of bounds to inbound it right to MPJ, who's surrounded by 3 other Lakers, for this 6'10 sharpshooter to rise up and knock down the shot. They were down 95-92, and now the game is tied. After trailing by 20 points, how many times has that kind of play happened with the Golden State Warriors, where there is just hustle and teamwork and all of the things you probably don't see on camera, gets the right bounce that leads to the right guy getting the right look at the right time to get the bucket. And that, my friends, that is what that Michael Porter Jr. shot was. And that is why I am very confidently saying that the new Golden State Dynasty has arrived. And we are looking at Denver's first ever dynasty. By far the greatest team I've seen since the 2017 Warriors, and I don't think anybody except maybe Boston has a chance at stopping them. All right, guys, that is all. Until next time.